Hi, I'm Emily Austin, research scientist at Censys. In this HealthNet security video, I'll be talking about assessing the state of the internet to make smart security decisions. The internet has revolutionized how we communicate, share information, and conduct business. Remote work arrangements, cloud adoption, and zero trust deployments have increased the internet exposure of most organizations. While organizations' technological footprint once resided behind the closed doors of corporate networks, shifts in the way we use technology and increased connectivity have ushered in an era of internet exposure. The use of services and devices not approved by IT teams, or shadow IT, has increased over the last 2 years, driven in large part by new remote work demands. This increased connectivity beyond the purview of IT and security teams now poses additional risk to organizations in the form of improperly managed devices and services connected to the internet. I'd like to share a few statistics to help quantify some of these challenges and offer some high-level mitigation suggestions for these issues. So first, misconfigurations, including unencrypted services, weak or missing security controls, and self-signed certificates, make up roughly 60% of the risks observed across the internet. Exposures of services, devices, and information represent 28% of observed risks, and vulnerabilities represent 12% of risks observed in 2022. As for mitigation, well, 0 days, CVEs, and interesting technical exploits are often trending on InfoSec Twitter, but they don't really represent the majority of risks observed across the internet. Good security hygiene that addresses misconfigurations and exposures may not be as exciting as a 0 day, but it's a critical piece of defense in depth for any security program. With so many organizations migrating services to the cloud, there's a lot of attention on cloud security and exposure. However, there's still significant exposure risk for on-premises infrastructure. The majority of the internet's hosts and services don't actually run on a major cloud provider, but rather are hosted in on-premises or conventional data centers. Despite increasing cloud adoption, internet exposure isn't just a cloud problem. So while having assets in multiple clouds or hosting providers can complicate your internet-facing attack surface, a multi-region cloud or data center strategy can be helpful in the case of an outage. Being able to fail over to a functioning region helps ensure your services remain available for your employees and your customers. But keeping track of that footprint can be tricky, and it's important to regularly assess any new hosts or services that pop up in your infrastructure. Vulnerability management continues to pose challenges. Research suggests that generally it takes over 200 days to patch severe vulnerabilities. New vulnerabilities are disclosed almost daily at this point, and it can be very challenging to keep track of all of them, let alone those that are specifically relevant to your organization. There are lots of resources online for learning about newly disclosed vulnerabilities and exploits, which is great, but knowing is just half the battle. It's also important to ensure that your organization has a vulnerability management process and engages in regular patching across all assets. And finally, research shows that large or enterprise organizations have an average of 44 different domain registrars and presence in 17 different hosting providers, including cloud, data center, and on-premises equipment. A reported 59% increase in shadow IT, driven by remote work demands over the last 2 years, has likely contributed to the sprawl. Organizations must continue enabling their employees, but this can lead to visibility issues when IT and security teams are left out of the conversation. It's really impossible to secure assets you don't even know you own. So again, the importance of regularly assessing any new hosts or services in your infrastructure really can't be overstated. The internet is constantly evolving as new technologies emerge, new vulnerabilities are discovered, and organizations grow their online presence. Moreover, the recent increase in remote work and the need to enable employees has exacerbated existing challenges with shadow IT and asset visibility. Things change rapidly on the internet, but security begins with visibility and knowledge. I hope the data I shared today is helpful and maybe gives you some ideas about how to make your own organization a little more secure. Thanks for watching.